Trying to get your Wisconsin CDL? Let's do this. Like, subscribe, and let's get started.
Question 1. The Wisconsin CDL Handbook includes procedures for handling hydroplaning and skids. True or false? True. Defensive driving and emergency handling are covered in general knowledge training. Question 2. Wisconsin allows third-party testers to administer CDL skills tests. True or false? True. Authorized third-party examiners may test drivers under Wisconsin DOT oversight. Question 3. In Wisconsin, CMV drivers must complete post-trip inspections at the end of the workday. True or false? True. FMCSA rules, enforced by Wisconsin, require post-trip inspections to identify issues. Question 4. The Wisconsin CDL skills test includes a pre-trip inspection, basic vehicle control, and a road test. True or false? True. The test is broken into 3 parts, all of which must be passed. Question 5. Drivers with a Wisconsin school bus endorsement must complete both knowledge and skills tests. True or false? True. The S endorsement requires written and road exams to ensure safety around children. Question 6. The pre-trip inspection portion of the Wisconsin CDL test includes checking for leaks in the engine compartment. True or false? True. Drivers are expected to inspect fluid levels and check for visible leaks during the pre-trip. Question 7. Wisconsin CDL applicants must self-certify their type of commercial driving, interstate or intrastate. True or false? True. Applicants must declare their driving type and provide appropriate medical certification. Question 8. The trailer hand valve should be used for parking in Wisconsin. True or false? False. The trailer hand valve is not designed for parking. It is only used to test trailer service brakes. Question 9. You can take your Wisconsin CDL skills test in any vehicle, regardless of class. True or false? False. The test vehicle must match the class and type of vehicle the applicant is seeking to be licensed for. Question 10. Wisconsin requires school buses to stop at all railroad crossings, even when no train is present. True or false? True. All school buses must stop and open the door and window to listen before crossing. Question 11. You do not need to carry reflective triangles in Wisconsin if your truck is equipped with flares. True or false? False. Federal rules require reflective triangles, even if the truck also carries flares or other devices. Question 12. In Wisconsin, CDL drivers can transport passengers in the cargo area of a truck if the ride is short. True or false? False. Transporting passengers in the cargo area of a CMV is illegal and unsafe. Question 13. Drivers do not need to check the air compressor during the pre-trip if the vehicle started fine. True or false? False. The air compressor must be inspected to ensure it maintains proper air pressure levels during operation. Question 14. The air compressor governor in a commercial vehicle controls when the compressor cuts in and out. True or false? True. It maintains system pressure by cycling the compressor on and off. Question 15. If your CDL is disqualified in Wisconsin, you can keep driving under your regular license. True or false? False. Disqualification of your CDL removes your privilege to operate any commercial vehicle and may also affect your base license. Question 16. A commercial learner's permit in Wisconsin is valid for 180 days. True or false? True. The CLP expires after 180 days, but can be renewed once within a year. Question 17. Drivers are allowed to operate a CMV with a malfunctioning ABS light as long as the brakes feel normal. True or false? False. ABS faults must be checked and corrected before operating the vehicle. Question 18. CMV drivers in Wisconsin are allowed to exceed posted weight limits if their destination is nearby. True or false? False. Weight limits must be obeyed at all times unless a special permit has been issued. Question 19. The Wisconsin CDL exam allows you to skip the air brake test if you don't plan on using a trailer. True or false? False. Any CMV equipped with air brakes requires passing the air brake knowledge test to avoid restrictions. Question 20. A driver hauling gasoline in Wisconsin only needs a tanker endorsement. True or false? False. Transporting gasoline typically requires both a tanker and hazardous materials endorsement. Question 21. Wisconsin allows part-time CDL drivers to opt out of random drug and alcohol testing programs. True or false? False. All CDL drivers, regardless of part or full-time status, are subject to random testing under FMCSA rules. Question 22. The air brake test in Wisconsin includes checking for air leaks using a stopwatch or clock. True or false? True. This time test ensures that leakage rates are within acceptable safety limits. Question 23. The trailer emergency line supplies air to the trailer air tanks and controls emergency brakes. True or false? True. This line charges the tanks and engages trailer brakes if pressure is lost. Question 24. A vehicle with an automatic transmission can be used for the road test without affecting the license. True or false? False. Testing in an automatic will result in a restriction prohibiting operation of manual transmission CMVs. Question 25. Wisconsin CDL drivers can use handheld mobile phones as long as they're stopped at a red light. True or false? False. CDL drivers are prohibited from using handheld mobile devices at any time while operating a CMV. Question 26. Wisconsin CDL holders transporting hazardous materials must carry emergency response information in the cab. True or false? True. Emergency instructions must be readily accessible in case of a spill or incident. Question 27. The service airline on a combination vehicle controls the normal braking system of the trailer. True or false? True. It carries air to the trailer brakes when the driver uses the foot brake. Question 28. Wisconsin CDL applicants must pass a vision test with a minimum acuity of 20/40 in each eye. True or false? True. Vision standards are part of the DOT physical and enforced by Wisconsin DOT for licensing. Question 29. Air tanks in vehicles with air brakes must be drained daily to remove accumulated water and oil. True or false? True. Moisture and oil must be removed to prevent brake failure and corrosion. Question 30. A driver in Wisconsin is allowed to leave the scene of an accident if they were not at fault. True or false? False. Leaving the scene of an accident is a disqualifying offense under both state and federal regulations. Question 31. After passing the road test in Wisconsin, CDL applicants must wait 30 days before their license is issued. True or false? False. If all documents are in order, the CDL can be issued the same day or shortly after test completion. Question 32. All Wisconsin CDL holders must notify their employer within 30 days of any traffic conviction, excluding parking. True or false? True. This is a federal rule also enforced by Wisconsin. Question 33. To obtain a hazmat endorsement in Wisconsin, an applicant must pass a TSA background check. True or false? True. Federal law requires TSA clearance, and Wisconsin enforces this for hazmat applicants. Question 34. In Wisconsin, a CLP holder can operate a commercial vehicle alone as long as they avoid highways. True or false? False. A commercial learner's permit holder must always be accompanied by a qualified CDL holder seated in the front seat. Question 35. A tank endorsement is required in Wisconsin for hauling liquids in containers over 119 gallons. True or false? True. The tank endorsement applies when transporting bulk liquids, even when empty. Question 36. A driver with a passenger endorsement can legally transport students without a school bus endorsement. True or false? False. A separate S endorsement is required to legally transport students on a school bus. Question 37. The Wisconsin CDL road test can be taken before passing the general knowledge written test. True or false? False. You must pass the written knowledge test before scheduling the skills test. Question 38. Slack adjusters are acceptable if they move more than 2 inches when pulled by hand. True or false? False. Slack adjusters should not move more than 1 inch when manually checked with brakes released. Question 39. Wisconsin allows CMV drivers to use radar detectors. True or false? False. Use of radar detectors is prohibited in commercial motor vehicles by federal law and enforced in Wisconsin. Question 40. Wisconsin CDL holders must pass a separate knowledge test for each endorsement they apply for. True or false? True. Endorsements like passenger, hazmat, or tanker require additional written tests. Question 41. In Wisconsin, a CDL is required to operate a vehicle designed to transport 16 or more passengers, including the driver. True or false? True. This aligns with federal standards and is enforced by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. Question 42. A school bus driver may use the emergency exit to load students if the front door malfunctions. True or false? False. Students must enter and exit through designated service doors. Emergency exits are only for emergencies. Question 43. In Wisconsin, the low air pressure warning signal must activate before the pressure drops below 55 psi. True or false? True. This warning is critical to alert drivers to impending brake failure. Question 44. A Wisconsin CDL driver can hold more than one commercial license if operating in multiple states. True or false? False. Federal law prohibits holding more than one CDL regardless of how many states you operate in. Question 45. Wisconsin CDL drivers must carry a valid medical examiner's certificate unless exempted. True or false? True. All drivers in non-exempt categories must meet medical fitness standards. Question 46. Wisconsin CDL applicants do not need to bring identification to their test if they already have a permit. True or false? False. Valid identification is always required for testing and licensing processes. Question 47. Drivers can skip the coupling system inspection during a pre-trip if the trailer is empty. True or false? False. The coupling system must always be inspected, regardless of trailer load. Question 48. Hazard placards are only required in Wisconsin when a vehicle contains over 1,000 gallons of hazardous material. True or false? False. Placards are required based on material type and quantity as defined in federal hazmat tables, not just volume. Question 49. Wisconsin CDL applicants must provide the appropriate class and type of vehicle for the road test. True or false? True. The vehicle must match the license class being applied for, or restrictions may apply. Question 50. All drivers in Wisconsin must use 3 reflective triangles or flares during roadside emergencies. True or false? True. CMVs must carry these and know proper placement to warn oncoming traffic.
Thanks for sticking with us. Before you go, hit that link for the cheat sheet. It's the fastest way to get test ready.